So my parents said the other week that they were going to start listening to the podcast or watching it. At this point, I recommend they don't, because the segments I'm coming up with, they're probably not going to like.
After Hide Man.
Listening to you and Justin, that's a professional podcast right there.
The man with a voice.
He's got a wicked voice on it too. He does. He's got oh my goodness. I listen to his voice. I'm like, dude, you could go places with that voice. You are freaking phenomenal.
Has his own podcast. And what does he think?
Oh,
BoyStick presents the Honestly Lazy Podcast.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's your BoyStick coming back at you with yet another new video, a new podcast. It's exciting. You should be excited. I'm back. I took a week off. Now, for the people wondering where I was, well, we'll get into that in a bit, or in a few seconds, I guess. I just want to do my quick little intro. If you're watching this, you're either watching one or two ways, or listening. You're either on YouTube on the Honestly Lazy Show channel, or you are over on Spotify and you typed in the Honestly Lazy Podcast. If you've been watching for a while but you've not subscribed or followed, you might as well just do that. I'd love to have you on the channel. You know, I love to see new people subscribing. Having a lot of fun doing this. And I will continue to do it for all the kind people and all the people who want to be a part of the Honestly Lazy Podcast. I might want to say movement because that's just stupid. But thank you for tuning in for yet another episode. I'm not even sure what episode we're on. 30, 35, 36. I don't know. I don't even keep track. That's so bad to say. I don't keep track. I just film, have fun, and I upload. So, you know, deal with it. But if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you like it, then you should leave a like. I love seeing likes. I'm actually liking the view count I'm getting. Like, I'm not getting too many, but I've noticed I've hit like the 20 view mark on YouTube. And to me, that is like fucking game changing. It used to be like 8 views and now I'm up to 20. So, I mean, a little goes a long way, and it really makes me, keep going with the podcast. But I know what everyone's thinking. All fucking 57 of you subscribe to the channel. Where was I last week? I didn't post anything on my social medias. I didn't say anything. Where did I decide to go? Well, I'm glad you asked that. Actually, you probably don't care, but I will tell you anyways. Me and my lovely girlfriend, I think I said this in the last episode, me and my lovely girlfriend decided to go to Niagara Falls for the weekend and, get away from everything. Something that I didn't think I needed it that bad, but once I was actually up there, I fucking needed it that bad. I needed to get the hell away from a place that I know too well, my town. Mostly just get away from the town, get away from work. And it was a great time. I pretty much just sat around, did nothing, had a couple drinks. Pretty much all I wanted to do. But yeah, it was weird. So I was going to film an episode last week. It was like on the to-do list. Like Monday, I was going to pretty much film everything on the Monday and Tuesday, and then have the rest of the week to just chill before I went to Niagara. Monday comes around, and I said no. Tuesday came around, I said no. By the time I got to Wednesday, I said, you know what? If I'm going to fucking, have a nice relaxing weekend, I might as well make it a whole week. So I didn't film. I didn't even think about it. I would still talk to myself at work because I'm fucking crazy like that. Practicing what I want to say for a podcast, but nothing. Sorry, my nose is stuffed up. Maybe I got COVID. Hang on. Do I got COVID? No, I still taste beer. And I just kind of was like, you know what, man, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. No filming. And I mean, on Friday, I'd be up in Niagara trying to post this shit to the social medias. And I know I could have posted the day before, but I didn't even fucking think about filming until Wednesday. So at that point, I just said, fuck it. I'm taking a weekend or the week and the weekend off. And it was something I really didn't need. Later on in the show, I want to talk about men's mental health and all that. I'm going to try to really talk about it later on in the show because it is all over social media. But at this point, before I went up there, I wouldn't say I really need a mental break from the show. This is actually something that I really don't feel like I need a mental break from at all. But with things that were going on at work and stuff, I really needed a break from just that. And for the people who don't know, I am the type of guy who will first of all, my first 2 years of working at this company that I work at, I didn't take a single day off. Or I didn't call in a single day. I took maybe 2 days off my first year there. And my second year there, I took a week off, but no sick days. And then this year, I took one sick day. I wasn't feeling the greatest, but I still have my second sick day, and it's almost the end of the year. And this year, I did take more time off, but it's not what you're thinking. For me, when it comes to work and stuff, I'm not a fan of taking time off and not doing anything. So usually I don't take a week off. I usually take like a Friday, Monday, Tuesday off or something like that. Give myself like a 5-day thing where the weekend is included. It was funny because we went up to Niagara Falls, and right when we got there, I realized literally a year ago I booked 3 days off, so I had the same thing. Went through the weekend, so it was a 5-day thing. And in that same weekend, my girlfriend and I weren't dating, but we were talking about going up to Niagara Falls for like a getaway anyways. And I bought the PC that I now am using to film. Like the one, if you ever see me looking over, I'm looking at myself to make sure I'm still in frame decently. I use OBS as you said, but literally a year ago, I bought everything to make the content a little bit easier to film and edit. And biggest success I've done, I guess. I don't know the words, but it was just weird to think, like, literally a year later, I'm up in Niagara doing the trip I was supposed to do a year ago. But, you know, I was drained from work. I really, once I was up there, I was like, fuck, I should have filmed. And I was going to film Monday, and then because I had Monday off too, and then I said no. So I started filming tonight, which is Tuesday. Like I've said, I film 3 nights a week, sometimes only 2 if I can get both ideas kind of out in one night. But usually I like to space it out and, you know, just make it easier on myself. So that's what I did. No, that's what I'm doing. I'm filming Tuesday, and hopefully I don't have to film Thursday. I'm going to try to film the 2 things tomorrow, and then just, you know, make the thumbnail and shit Thursday, and then upload it Friday. It's a real big process to do this show. But whatever. Hang on a sec. I need to see this. There we go. Okay, we're good. So while I was up in Niagara, I filmed a new segment for the show, because while I was up there, we actually got a room with a nice jacuzzi tub, and I mean, that's fucking all I pretty much sat in a jacuzzi tub. It doesn't take much to please me, and down the road, when I have my own house, I'd love to have a jacuzzi tub, because that thing fucking relaxed me. And you know, with COVID and stuff, you can't go sit in the hot tubs or use the pool. So jacuzzi tub is the next best thing. So I think we used it like 3 times a day, every day. We were up there Friday, came home Sunday, and we had a few funny things that happened up there. So like we got up there and I just kind of said, fuck it. Like, you know, Friday night, we're not doing a thing. So we get up there. First thing that happened, they gave us the wrong room. I walked in this hotel room. I'm like, wow, it's smaller than I thought. And then I went looking for the tub, and there wasn't one. Luckily, my girlfriend still had the receipt, and they said, "Oh, okay, well, you're supposed to get a tub," so they gave us a tub. And I mean, the room difference was magnificent. I mean, we had a fucking living room in this hotel, like we had 2 TVs, like a living room and a door. So you went through the hotel door, and there was like a pull-out couch, a table, and a TV. And then there was another door you went through, and that's where the bathroom was. And we had like a microwave, a fridge, like 3 fucking sinks. I don't know why you need 3 sinks, but we had 3 sinks. And the buckets for champagne. And then you walked in, there was 2 queens, which was great because the first night we slept on the one queen with the view of the falls, which my girlfriend ended up getting a spring in her back or something. She tried to move over and almost threw me off. I fucking almost fell off the bed 4 times in one night just trying to sleep. And what was this? And then we went to the next bed, and it was very comfy. And then within the first night, we get out of the jacuzzi tub, and I said, you know what? Let's go. I need to get the fuck out of this hotel room. Let's go for a walk. The next thing we realized that we're on the 22nd floor on a very busy hotel where there's COVID in place. It was a half-hour wait. The elevator kept opening, and they were fucking full. Every elevator. So that was fun. I fucking hate waiting for elevators. I'm not a big fan of elevators in the first place. So the fact that I have to wait for one, fucking terrible. So, we wait a half hour. We realized, there's a kids hockey game, and all the kids are on the level with us, so that was going to be fun. But it wasn't going to ruin our fun. So we went out for the walk, and Niagara, this was the weekend that just passed, was their Christmas lights. They just started up, and it was funny. The funniest thing that happened was while I was up there, I went on Instagram, and Quinn Marr, the guys being dudes, the prankster Quinn Marr was up there with his girlfriend too. I just thought, oh my god, what are the fucking odds? We didn't run into him. It would be funny if we did. But he was up there for his anniversary, and I was just up there for a getaway, so I just said, I'm up here, and he said, LOL, no fucking way. And I hope he had fun. But we were walking down the lights, fucking Christmas lights down there. Holy shit, it's like a 3-kilometer thing, I swear. So we went up to the main strip, so we walked down, saw these Christmas lights. My girlfriend is freaking out like a girl, literally like a little girl on Christmas morning. Like, oh my god, look at the reindeer! Justin, can you see this? Look at these lights. Oh, look at this light. It was it was cool. She saw a castle, and she's like, oh my god, Frozen, it's Elsa. And I was like, what the fuck is a Frozen? And all that dumb stuff. So, I thought the Christmas lights are pretty cool, but like totally different levels between her and I. We're like that in general, but I mean totally different levels for how we really, react to the, oh my god, I can't think of it. To the lights, that's what it was. So we get to the main strip, and we decide let's stop, grab some food, because it's going to be a long walk back. So let's just get some food, So we decided to, hit up a Dairy Queen, where a guy came up to us, and he just said, I just got out of the hospital, I need some change for a cab. And he's like in a fucking cast, and I don't know if he was faking it. I didn't have any money anyways. I don't carry cash on me because it's 2021. I run on debit, and I was talking to my girlfriend after he asked me for the change. I mean, I just fucking asked me for change. He said he just got out of the hotel and he's trying to get a cab, and my girlfriend's like, the closest hotel is fucking 5 kilometers that way. And he's wearing a cast and he's limping. There's no way he walked that far. So I kind of figured, man, they're just trying to panhandle or just rob me or whatever. So we decided, all right, fuck it, let's go. And she looked at her phone, and my girlfriend in, classic girl style, was reading the GPS wrong, and she's like, we can go this way and it'll just connect us and we'll end up back at the hotel. Within like 2 minutes, no fucking lights, like you can't even see anything, barely any street lights. And it turned into like, I felt very unsafe very quick. We ended up in the fucking ghetto of Niagara. I mean, it was just like there wasn't anything going on. You just knew it wasn't the safest neighborhood, you know? Like, there's nobody there, and then you're walking and you're just like, you know, the sketchy looking shops and stuff. And then at one point we walked by like this fucking like dive food place, and this guy comes walking out, full fucking bag of food. Like, he just bought all this. And I just so happened to be walking by him. He's like, hey man, you got any change? I was like, what? He's like, do you got any change? I was like, no. I started walking away. I'm like, that man just had a whole fucking bag of food, like a fucking full bag, like big bag of food. And he comes out and asks me for change. What? No, you're not. No, fucking. Shouldn't have bought the food if you need change for a fucking cab or something. No. And he said it just like, so, yo man, got any change? Like, just has a fucking food in hand. I was like, no. And I was like, oh my god, where are we? And we just kept walking and we kept walking. And I mean, you know, you're in an unsafe neighborhood when random buildings just have like, you know, the cage things on the windows. That's when you know you're in an unsafe neighborhood. And that's when I realized, oh fuck, we need to get the fuck out of here. Girlfriend looks at her phone. She's like, oh, we're supposed to walk. Like, I don't know how we did it. And fucking read the GPS wrong. Whatever. We get back to the hotel. I was like, oh my god, that was stressful. And of course, first thought, I'm going to hop in the jacuzzi. Because why the fuck not? I'm using this as much as I can while I have it. And she's like, yeah, you know, let's put some bubbles in it. So I was like, alright. So, you know, dump a little bit of bubble shit in it. And she was like, more. I didn't know you were not supposed to put bubbles in the fucking jacuzzi. But I was like, alright. So I pour in more. And it was fine. Like, you know, there was some bubbles. Right when I turn on those fucking jets, it's a big mistake. There's a Polaroid picture of me in there with the bubbles, and you can see me smiling. I'm like smiling, but you can see in the photo I'm sitting like freaking the fuck out. I'm like smiling, but I'm like, okay, these are not going down. So I was like, holy fuck, man. I'm like looking, it's about to go over. Like, the bubbles are about to go over the fucking top. So I start draining the water. My girlfriend comes in to like jump in. She's like, wait, you're not getting in? I'm like, what do you mean? It's fucking bubbles. And she's like, where's the water? And I was like, I emptied it, and it still looked like it was full. Like, the bubbles were at the fucking peak. I was like, there's no water in this. It's just fucking bubbles. And she was like, oh, so we literally sat there. I'm like, oh, did we break the fucking tub? Like, I'm paranoid because I just get like that. I'm like, did we break the fucking tub somehow? Or like, you know, this and that. And turns out we didn't. We literally had to refill it and play with the bubbles until they dissolved. Then I called my mom next day to tell her what happened. She's like, dude, cold water. And I felt really stupid. I felt like a real millennial at that point. But you know, you live and you learn. So that was another experience. Just a fucking almost overflowed jacuzzi tub and walk through the ghetto in one night. And then we wake up in the morning and we decided to go get breakfast. And we had an Applebee's next to us. No way. We tried to go to IHOP, which I don't know. I've been there before. I forget if it was good or not. But we decided it was like a fucking 30-minute wait for this. I was like, no, I need some bacon and eggs like now, motherfucker. So we went to an Applebee's and actually really good breakfast. Like, I was very surprised. It was connected to a hotel, like this Oak something hotel. Like, it was right across from ours. It was like they were battling for each other. But we had the IHOP and we had the keg. That was all takeout because of fucking COVID. And they had, you know, just an Applebee's. So we decided to, you know, just eat some Applebee's. It was good. It was a decent meal. And then we went back, and it's 11 in the morning, and I'm cracking a twisted tea. You know, it's too early to crack beer, so I cracked a twisted tea, and then I turned into beer. And next thing you know, I'm buzzing really fucking hard as we're taking this rail thing down to the falls. So of course I'm like, I need to experience some shit like while I'm buzzing. This is fun. Like I was like giggling and like I was staring at the falls, like, wow, look how beautiful. You know, I've stared at the falls drunk before, so that wasn't a big thing. But I was like, you know, if there's one thing I want to do this weekend, I've never been to the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. That was fun. That was really fun, actually. So we went to the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum, and holy fuck, that place is bigger than I thought. Like, we were in there for, I think, a good hour. It was like, you know, $50 for two of us. So I was like, fuck, this place is gonna be tiny. It was fucking huge. And I haven't been to a museum since I was a little kid. And like when you're a little kid, you don't fucking care about museums. But now I was like, let's see if I like it. And I actually did like Ripley's Believe It or Not. I keep trying, almost saying aquarium. Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. There was a door that did open. And I won't tell you how I figured it out, but I figured it out. And I mean, you're sitting there trying to figure out how to open this door, and the sign says this door does open, and you feel really stupid. But once you figure it out, you feel really stupid. Because you're like, wow, I should have figured that out. And then there's like another thing. What was it? It was like grab the gem, and like it was like on this bookshelf. My girlfriend reached in to grab it. And it sprayed like air at her, and everyone laughed at her, man. And it was like, she was kind of embarrassed, and it was probably more embarrassing when she looked at me. I was laughing at her, probably didn't help her at all, but I mean, I couldn't help it. It was fucking hilarious. There was a lot of cool shit. At the end, there's this tunnel. I mean, I'm already drunk, so there's this tunnel that it's a tunnel that spins, right? So like all these people are lined up to go into it, and I was like, "What the fuck is like? What's this thing?" My girlfriend's like, "Oh, it's an illusion. Like, go in there." She has a video of me, by the way, and you're fine, and you walk through the fucking door, and you instantly feel like you're spinning. Man, it was fucking weird. So I'm already buzzing hard, and this thing's making me feel spinny, and I'm like, "Holy shit!" I gotta walk through this tunnel, and I mean, like. I start walking through it, and I'm like, oh my god, maybe I have to turn back. And I was like, no, I can't now, because she's behind me, and I turn, and she's filming me, so I'm like, I gotta fucking make it through. I'm leaning to one side of a railing, just trying to fucking survive this spinning nightmare. And I made it through, but the people on the other side were sitting there, and when I came through and hit the wall. Like, I just went, like, it almost looked like I stumbled right into a wall, and probably did. And that was the most exciting part of that whole museum. But if you're ever in Niagara and you've never been there before, go to the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum, because I had a lot of fun there, and I'm 26. So that was the thing I wanted to do. We wanted to do the Ferris wheel. Lineup was too big, so we decided not to. But the one thing my girlfriend wanted to do was this Rainforest Cafe, which served beer. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'm in. You know, keep this buzz going. It was cool. Like, you know, it's just animatronic animals, you know. And then there's like a thunderstorm, and the monkeys go crazy, and the elephants go crazy, and like it was like my girlfriend, once again, Christmas morning, she was all excited. I remember the first storm happened. She's like, oh my god, look around, look at all the animals. I was just kind of like, yeah, that's cool. And like, you know, they're animatronic animals. Like, you know, it's like a Chuck E. Cheese to me, or like, you know, one of those places where like the animals play all the instruments on stage. I don't care. Like, it was cool. It was a cool experience to go to it, but very fucking expensive. A goddamn tourist tax or whatever, man. I gotta tell them next time I live in Ontario, I'm not a fucking tourist, and see what happens. But Ripley's and Niagara Falls, out of all the times, I've been there like 3 or 4 times. This was probably the best time I've ever been there, and I think it was just because of the person I went with, and it was probably the most not planned but kind of planned weekend, and that's how I like to do weekends like that. So it all came down to it. Niagara, like 10 out of 10 this time. Drinks, a tunnel that made me feel even more drunk, and walking through the ghetto. Niagara Falls, baby. Alright, welcome to Random Video of the Week, part of the podcast where I just find a random video and pretty much poke fun at it or something like that. And, you know, it happens every week. I can't believe I'm still doing it. It gets hard to find videos. As you know, so we're on BoyStick. I haven't made fun of a video in a very long time. But with the podcast, it being live and stuff, it's pretty easy to find a video and just poke fun at it. And today, we got the good old best news station in the world, Fox News, proving their intelligence with a minute clip. Now, the man in this video, I'm just going to start off, he couldn't make it more clear what he was talking about. And because it's Fox News reporters, it goes in one ear and out the other and just doesn't compute. And this girl proves the type of people they hire at Fox News. Let's just watch it.
I was watching an episode of You where measles came up.
Wait. When did I mention measles?
Right here is the first, the man's face is saying, like, all right, she interrupted me to say when I talk about measles. I'm not talking about you talking about measles. I'm talking about the TV show measles, which is funny because at the beginning of the clip, they're talking about Yellowstone. So, in a normal person's brain, it's like, I'm talking about another show, and she instantly, because he says you, she instantly thinks she reported on it, and it just turns into a great explosion of this guy getting angry.
I don't know. It was on you.
Wait, what was on me? What are you talking about? Is Raymond even hearing what I'm saying? I never had the measles.
Was on you.
Right here. You think she'd probably clue in? Typical blonde girl moment. She sitting there with a stunned face, and it's not computing in her brain that he's talking about a show, not her, and instead of her brain just sitting there like, please continue, I don't understand, she goes the other way and says, I didn't do anything about the measles. You think you'd be like, I didn't do that, what are you talking about? Okay, are you talking about something else? Not just keep going back to, I didn't report this.
We never did a measles and vaccine episode. Is this a joke?
I know.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It was on you. It was on you.
Raymond, I've never had measles. What are you talking about?
This is live television, by the way, which makes it even funnier because it's 7:43, I'm guessing, in the morning. And maybe she didn't have her early morning coffee or something, but it's after 38 seconds of him literally saying, it's not, you didn't report it, I'm talking about you, like.
Never had measles.
It was on you.
I've never had.
It was on you.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It was on.
Is this a joke?
I know.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It was on you. It was on you.
If you ask me, he should have been more specific. I would have said something like, I know I'm not talking about you, Laura. I'm talking about the show on Netflix, you. And maybe that would have made more sense. But, I mean, on both ends, it just shows how intelligent they both are. Because if it was me and I kept saying you and she's like, I never did, I'm like, oh my God, the Netflix show that is literally called You, Y-O-U. Not you, Laura, a show that's just called You. And then it probably all would have clicked. But no, he keeps saying just you.
Raymond, I've never had measles. What are you talking about? This is stupid.
It was an episode of a show, Laura.
What's it called?
You.
It almost feels like a Family Guy joke. Like, it almost feels scripted how perfect this is lining up. It almost feels like Family Guy wrote it for Fox News. Like right here, it's a show. What's it called? You think she'd be like, oh, you're talking about something else. You think if he was talking about her at this point, he'd be like, okay, it's called the Laura Ingraham Show or something. Like the Laura Ingraham Show. But no, he literally says you and
of a show, Laura.
Like right here. right here you can see the steam coming out of her ears, trying to compute what he's trying to say. And then she says, I'm going to give it one last shot.
Well, what's it called?
You.
What is he talking about?
It's called You.
I've never done a show on...
And that's when the brain just totally shuts off and just says, fuck it, go on repeat. And just say you never did that, because obviously this is not making sense. You think right here when he was like, what's it called? Or when she was like, what's it called? And he says, you? It'd be like, oh, not me, right? You're talking about like the title of the show is called You. But she literally just says...
I just completely give up. We gotta get out.
It's a show
I give up.
called You on Netflix.
Right there, it should have been the biggest, like, all right, if you don't get it, you're a dumb bitch. And right here, she proves she's a dumb bitch. Listen.
There's a show called Lowering on Netflix.
Oh, my God. Like, the world's going to shit, ladies and gentlemen. When I can't even watch Fox News and get the proper news, or I can't even watch Fox News and them even compute that he's not talking about her, he's talking about a fucking show. And on top of the fact, how does she not, like, okay, first of all, everyone has Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, you're weird. And second of all, Netflix has been advertising the living fuck out of this show, You. I still haven't watched it. Am I going to? Probably not. I got more important shit. You know, I'm probably going to rewatch Big Mouth before I watch You. Probably going to rewatch Kingdom before I watch You. There's other shows I prefer to watch. On top of the fact, when I watch shows, it is more of just background noise. So, I mean, already not for me. But I mean, the fact that he's like, it's called You, and she's like...
It's a show called Lowering on Netflix.
And you can see it in his face, just the spew of disappointment. Like, I gotta work with this dumb bitch. And she's not making any sense. And now, she's making me look stupid. And his response to this is just a total me move. Just, fuck it, let's move on.
What are you
Never
talking
mind.
about?
I'm moving on to Adele. I can't explain this to you.
What's he
The
talking
pop
about?
singer
Been there, done that myself a couple times. Trying to explain something, and it's just not competing with the person. You're just like, never mind. You know what? Let's just talk about something else. How's your day? And I guarantee you, when the cameras cut off, she went up to him and said, "What are you talking about? I don't have a show on Netflix." And then he had to go back to it, because this shit always happens. You try to cut it off, cut it right off, you know, and just move on with a different conversation. Then they come up, no, what are you talking about? And then you have to fucking try to explain it again. It's like the worst thing that could ever happen. Been there, done that. And the fact that she thought it was about her, and she thought she had, or for even a second, she was like, I don't have a show on Netflix. Like, no shit, he's not talking about you. I'm just terrified for the future of the news at this point. If this is the reports we're getting. This has been your random video of the day.
The Honestly Lazy Podcast.
So there's been kind of this thing I've been noticing on social media lately. Something that is something that hasn't really been talked about before. Until kind of, like, it kind of has been, but I haven't seen a lot about it ever really in my life. And it's kind of weird seeing it now, but I'm also very happy to start seeing it happen around the world, or even just on social media and stuff like that. And that is the men's mental health thing. It's one of those things that, I mean, throughout my life, I didn't really think about men's mental health. It was either you were tough or you were soft. Something that, I mean, like, didn't really affect me too much. I still did my shit, and I still, I still became the man that I am, and I do believe I am a man. But I mean, it was one of those things where you just never talked about anything. You didn't talk about your feelings. You didn't talk about your anxiety, your depression. You didn't talk about any of that. You just woke up, went to work, or you woke up, went to school, or you just kept it all inside. Honestly, the first time I really heard about, like, even men's mental health is when last time Quinn Marr came on the podcast, how open he was talking about it. how he was talking about his medication and how he was talking about what it was doing to him and all that type of stuff. Which I've heard guys talk about their mental health, and I've heard it all, before. And, I'm usually, believe it or not, people do come and talk to me about that shit. And I don't know, some people look at me as like a confidant for some reason, but usually if someone tells me stuff like that, I keep it to myself. I don't tell anybody. And I think that's why people kind of come to me. But I mean, for Quentin Marr to do that, and he was like going to be on a podcast talking about it, to me that's a very brave thing to do. Because like we all grew up, like me and him grew up in just up the road from each other, like just in two different towns, really. And like in my town, if you talked about any of that, you'd just be called a fucking pussy and, like get on with it and all that type of stuff. And I mean, even to this day, like the guys I hang out with are like, they don't talk about anything. They don't talk about their feelings and stuff. They don't talk about jack shit like that. They just hang out and pretty much only talk about work. I do have a couple friends that will talk about it, but it's, for me, men's mental health is something that is always brushed into the corner, and you just kind of got to deal with it if you're a guy. What can be going so bad for you type deal. Like for females, I'm not trying to do anything where it's like, like men have it worse than women, or women have it worse than men. I'm just saying it off the top of my head how I see it, and I'm not trying to offend anybody or anything. Before I really talk, I don't want to offend anybody. This is just what I've noticed, like just in life. Like when it comes to women, they can vent and they can go to therapy and they can do all that, and they won't be looked at differently. Where if men do that, it's kind of different. Even if it's like a new world and like the world, like you see commercials where it's like, we support it, and we want men to feel good and all that type of stuff. It's also one of those things that it's just like, that's fine, but you don't know the people I hang out with, and you don't know really anything about what it's like to really open up about your anxiety and stuff like that. When Quinn came on and talked about it, I was like, damn dude, that's fucking brave, because I mean, I've had all that. I've talked about a little bit. I think the most I've talked about on the podcast is the anxiety so much where I couldn't get onto a school bus. But I mean, I've had other stuff. I've been depressed. I've been all that, like, hence why you see all these music tattoos. Even though I'm wearing a long sleeve, I have music tattoos because, like, when I was feeling down, when I was pissed off and all that type of stuff, I had music because I didn't want to open up to anybody. To me, opening up, fucking crying or doing anything like that made me feel like I'm not a man. I mean, I looked up to guys like my father and my brother who, like, are fucking tough as nails. And to this day, I feel like they're tough as nails compared to me. Like, to me, compared to my brothers and my father, I feel like, I'm a fucking pussy compared to those guys, And also in the same time, I feel like my brothers and my dad kind of reflect it. They're not trying to, like, make me feel like that. They're just looking out for me, and it's like, like when I got my first factory job, my dad was messaging me like, how are you doing? Are you okay? And stuff like that. And I mean, like, it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's cool. My dad's checking up on me. But at the same time, it's like, damn, like, does he really, like, to me, it was like, damn, does he think I'm not going to make it? Because I feel like out of both of my brothers, I was more open about shit, and I probably cried a lot more than them and all that type of stuff, which nowadays I don't even remember the last time I cried. And like on the social media and stuff like that, they're posting like it's okay to cry, it's okay to go to therapy, it's okay to talk about it, and like, I'm glad to see all that. I just haven't needed to cry for a fucking long time. For me, I've lucked out in a lot of ways where when my life was at dark times, like being laid off, or just like feeling alone, or feeling like I was never going to find a relationship or something like that, there was always something else that kind of like I just patiently waited and something would happen, or something just randomly would happen. Like I'd start feeling like that and something would happen, and for some reason I'd feel really good. And for a long time that shit didn't happen. I was a very pissed off high school kid, and there was times where I probably should have went to therapy, but I didn't. And sometimes I wish I did do that, but in my own experiences, I've lucked out and somehow have found a light when it's been very dark. And the shitty thing is, there's even guys that I know, like my close buddies, or like just like people who are so scared they won't even leave their house. They're so anxious and stuff, and they don't tell anybody. And they don't. I guess the way I'm kind of looking at it is they don't look at life how I have over the years. When I was at my lowest of, I don't know really how to describe it. Mentally, I guess, when I was at my lowest mentally, for some reason I just kept saying, man, it will get better. You'll figure this out. There was never a time really where I was like, I'm fucked and there's nothing I can do about it. There was always something in the back of my head saying, like, you just gotta get through every single day. And it's probably just family and friends, even though they would kind of be mean about that stuff. I'm sure if I really wanted to talk to them about it, they would talk to me about it. But me and my buddies and my parents and shit, we were not really like that. There was a point in my life where I was single for 2 years, and I just thought, instead of don't get me wrong, there was nights where I felt very alone and very sad and all that type of shit. It's like, damn, I wish I had someone. But mostly I just kind of said, well, I'll figure it out. If I'm going to be single for the rest of my life, I'm going to figure it out and at least have fun with my life. It's the weirdest thing. I've been depressed, I've been fucking angry, I've been everything, anxious, everything, and somehow I've beat it. And the shitty thing is that, in the future, I will feel all that again at some point. I know I will. But, there's men in this world that are worried they can't talk to anybody about it. There's men in this world that think no one fucking cares, and there's going to be alone and shit. There's guys who have girlfriends and shit that feel like this. It's a fucking terrible thing. And I'm glad to finally see the social media even just posts of men, it's okay to pretty much be emotional. Even my girlfriend says it, it's okay to be emotional, it's okay to cry and shit like that. But I'm like, yeah, I know. To me nowadays, it's I could probably cry easier nowadays. It seems more exceptional than when I was a young kid or a teenager. The thing is, I don't need to fucking cry anymore. There's nothing really that is making me want to cry in my life. Like I said, I've lucked out. But when it comes to mental health, I've been skeptical on it. I've known people that were normal people, and then, they went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, you got anxiety. And they just fucking totally changed. And then they were like, I can't come to work, I got anxiety and stuff like that. With mental health, there's people who really need it. And, they really do need it. And then there's people who don't need it, but, they always talk about it and stuff. Oh, I'm anxious, I have depression, I'm anxious, I have all this. And I sit there, I'm like, well, if you can talk about it, you're doing good. Because I know people that are anxious and depressed, and, you try and you try and you try, and I've lost touch with people because of it, you know, because they were scared to come outside anymore, like, or because they just didn't want to leave the house. And unfortunately for me, it's like, dude, like, these people are my friends, but I have to keep living my life. I can't keep trying to take care of everybody, you know. It's a terrible thing, and I'm just I didn't really know what I was going to do with this part of the podcast. I kind of want to talk about mental health, like men's mental health, and I'm just glad people like Quinn Marr, who literally did an update video talking about it, and other people and other men are starting to talk about it, and I'm glad to see that people are actually listening and trying to help them out, because I mean that's a fucking big step for me, because like I said, when I was a teenager and stuff, that shit was kind of like non-existent, and you know, it's just one of those things that I'm just happy to see it be done, or be more acceptable, because, you know, I could have used it a lot in high school, and I could have been not as pissed off if it was more exceptional. But time goes on, and at least when I have kids, I know they won't feel as afraid or feel like a pussy to talk about their mental health. If I have boys, you know, my girlfriend thinks I'm going to have girls, which I don't think I will, but if I have a girl, that's even easier. And that will do it for this week on the Honestly Lazy podcast. I hope you liked this one. That last part was a bit much, or a bit emotional, I guess, or a bit more serious than what the Honestly Lazy podcast is really all about. But sometimes you just gotta do it. But, you know, like I said with mental health, you just gotta keep going. And I should say this in the last part, find stuff that makes you happy and fuck what everyone says. I've said it before. For me, it's podcasting, and I'm getting results. Like 20 views makes me as happy as I can be. But if you like this podcast, please leave a like. Go follow me on my social medias. That's where I post trailers and stuff for the Honestly Lazy podcast. Go follow my TikTok. It's the BoyStick clips. Pretty easy to find. Follow my Twitter and Instagram. And if you like this, like and subscribe, because I'm going to be uploading until Christmas, and I'll be taking a week off to enjoy Christmas and New Year's, and now I'm going to be right back at it into New Year's. So just keep your, I don't know, mouse near the fucking play button. I upload every Friday, and I blew this outro, but fuck it. It's the Honestly Lazy podcast, and it's your boy Stick, and I'm out of here. So take her easy.
The Honestly Lazy podcast.